All right, and welcome here as we are here inside of Pizza Man Pub, 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville. Very happy to be here with you all as we were here the day that tryouts ended. The day that tryouts ended, going into the first practice, the Baldwinsville Bees girls lacrosse team came here and told me and told you everything they were going to do this season. Their chip on their shoulder, what they wanted, who they wanted to beat, what was in front of them, sectionals and states. They did exactly what they said they were going to do, and tonight we have your state champions with us. So we are here with Coach Liz Boyle, and we are here with Bree Peters as well as myself, Dan Tortora. And please, before we get started, give Bree and Coach a round of applause. So Bree, welcome.
Yeah, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Bree, are you more of the quiet one on the team? I feel a little bit. Depends who you're around. Who are you loud around? Who gets the most of your personality?
I don't know. A lot of them do, I feel.
Okay.
A lot of them
A lot of them do.
do. Yeah.
Who brings out your personality the most on the team?
Probably Mia, honestly.
All right, Mia. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So, what'd you say?
I bring out the worst.
Bring out the worst. All right, Bree, you got to see your teammates come up here and be a part of it. Number one, how do you think they did, and how do you think you're going to do on the mic tonight?
I thought they did really well, and I'm hoping I do really well.
Fair enough. Coach, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
Fantastic.
So you said you may not need a microphone. You think you'd be able to carry your voice enough, right? Are you a yeller at practice?
I don't know if I yell, I'm just loud.
You're loud.
I think everybody knows me as loud.
As loud. Do you know the difference between yelling and loud? Would you say you know the difference to the team? Yes, no? Yeah? So, because there is a difference. When I coach soccer, they said there's a difference between yelling and just being pronounced with your voice. Like, just that louder voice. So,
Ask the defense what my yelling sounds like.
okay, fair enough. So, you go on this road to the state championship, and it has been an amazing season to be a part of this. What have you seen out of this team that you think has been probably the best part of the journey?
Well, I have to start with, if you know what it's like to come into a tribe of women, it's not easy. So that I have to say, they have made it easy though. They've welcomed me with open arms. The running joke with Coach Shaber is that I was just a maternity fill-in. So I was here for Coach Whitty. She was out having a baby, and I'm like, I'm just filling in, and then I'm going to be a mom again. And they welcomed me with open arms, and they were fantastic. So I think just that being said about this team, is they're an amazing group of young women. They never get sick of each other. They're always supportive and awesome. So it just was easy coming in, doing my thing. I've been coaching lacrosse for a very long time. And I tell the girls all the time, this is the best team I've ever coached. They're respectful. They're awesome with each other. They work hard. Every time we move on the field, they all go together. We do one thing, everybody's going together. So honestly, it's been the most amazing experience.
For you to, like you said, have coached for so many years, you say that this is the best. Is it because of that cohesive movement together and the fact that wherever they go, it's as one? Is that the best part, or is there something else?
I think a lot of it has to do with, I'm older now, so I see things differently from a different perspective. So I think seeing them, knowing that they were once my daughter's age, in youth lacrosse, and they played together for so long, and they still stick together, and they still get sick of each other, I think that makes the difference. So I think just understanding the dynamics that they have just makes that cohesive part that much easier. It's just like seamless, and they just do it.
Bree, when you hear Coach Boyle say that this is the best team that she's ever been a part of, what does that mean to you?
I actually really agree too, because we've all been playing together for so long, and it's like, honestly, I think it might be like the last BVille team, where we're all together and stuff like that with the age groups and everything. So I honestly agree, and it's just amazing to hear.
You said growing up and playing together, for so long, having that connection. Do you remember some of your first moments on a field with some of the girls on the team?
Yeah, and most of them here were all there. I was playing with too.
So bring me into maybe your first memory.
Probably like the ones I can remember, like just the tournament that was probably a couple days ago. It was like called Rock the Town or whatever, and it was in Rochester where we play against all the Rochester teams, and then playing against Rush Henrietta in the state semis was like just like playing against them back then in that tournament. So it was a great memory, honestly.
So you felt like it all came together from the beginning
Yeah.
because Rush Henrietta was there with
Yeah,
you.
we beat them in that tournament.
And how surreal is that to have those to have those bookend moments? Like, how surreal is that for you? And is it like poetic in a way that you got to do that in the beginning and you got to obviously do that?
Yeah, it's just crazy, and it's an amazing feeling. Think about how far both teams have came and everything like that.
So this team was heading to states the last time we spoke. Bring me into that road and what you took away from those games getting pushed. And by the way, before I go anywhere with this question, Sam is right here in front of us. And I will never forget that you said there's a right way, there's a wrong way, and a tang way, to say the name right. So can we really, because she was with us at the beginning, she did the first broadcast, but you're a major reason. I mean, everybody on this team has their place, but shouldn't we give you a little bit of credit for making that stop before the championship? Can we show Sam some love?
There was other things that happened before that.
I know that. And who do you want to shout out because of that?
Mia, if she didn't make that shot, I wouldn't have made the save.
You know, and that's the thing I love about this team, and that's why I directed that. Because I know that by thanking you, you would thank somebody else. Because that's how you've all been all season long. Bree, when you know that nobody's done it without somebody else, bring me into that road through states. And do you have, obviously winning a championship is the big memory, but are there moments on the way to the championship that you thought were really sweet?
Yeah, honestly, like, every moment we have together on the field is a good one. I mean, we always play as a team and really push through. It's not all one person. And especially in that semifinal game, we really showed that it was a whole team effort, and it was great.
Gutting out a game like that, what was it about those moments toward the end of the game that you felt like this team just stuck together and knew exactly what you had to do? Because it's easy to break down in those moments.
Yeah. Well, when we were down, no one put their head down or anything like that. We all just kept building each other up. And then when we got the goal, we all were celebrating. With Sam's save, we celebrated every moment.
There's a lot of traditional stuff that teams may do. Is there anything that you do after every game, or that maybe you did after every game this season, that you had to do? And like, not a superstitious way maybe, but just something that you needed to do at the end of the game?
Well, we all have like a dance party on the bus, really, or some sort of dance thing. We do that before every game, too.
Before every game, okay. So who leads the dance party?
Probably Fiona.
Fair enough. Are there songs of choice that are typically played?
Every song. I'll Pump It Up. I'm a Bee. We play right before every game.
What'd you say?
The song I'm a Bee. We play right before every game.
Right before every single game. And that has to be there.
Yes.
Every
single
time.
game.
So is it a superstition or just a tradition?
Tradition.
Tradition. Okay. Coach, do you have a favorite tradition that this team does?
Well, I'm going to agree with that because now those songs are permanently stuck in my head. Probably tradition. I think it's just keeping that. Cause you got to remember, I'm a BVille Bee from like 1998, right? Like long time, you know. And I think they just. I think it's the cohesiveness. I think they get together. I think they pump each other up. They calm each other down. They tell each other, they give little, get out of your head, you know, like do this, do that. And I think it's just that self-talk, that self-motivation, that sticking together as a team. I think that is hard to keep, you know, from tradition because they have these morals and this respect for one another, and they just pass it down to the little ones, and they just keep that respect going. So as far as like, you know, I've only been here a short amount of time with them, but for traditions, I think it's that dance party. I think I posted on Facebook for them, but they were all together in this big huddle, and they were all doing a dance, and they were all having, you know, their own moments, and everybody does their individual thing, but again, they're all supported by one another. So I think it's just that cohesiveness again.
when you watch this team, this run that you've had, at the end of those games when everything zeros and you're moving on to the next game and moving on to the next game, what is it that has been so fun for you? Like you said, going back to the 90s and being a part of this, you've been around the Bees for a very long time. So what is it about this run that you just love the celebration of? Because I mean, we get to watch the videos, right? Running out onto the field, all of those moments. And I think some of the greatest pictures are the ones where you just see somebody reach out for a parent. I thought those are the incredible ones. And then obviously seeing Coach with her daughter, I mean, she will always have these moments. So there's all of those pictures that you could put on the front of the New York Times and it makes sense. Do you have a New York Times moment from this run? Do you have a couple snapshots that you go back to in your mind?
I do. I think one of it is Coach Tabor and I, we spent a lot of time talking about randomness, and we have, our serious talk, and then we have our family fun talk, and we always talk about them, we talk about other things. But I think the moment when I got to put the medal on her, and then, then we kind of celebrated, and I think one of the moms caught, I was cheering and she was hugging me, and I think that hug, that smile, that friendship, I think that is my favorite moment. So when I look back, and I always look at that picture and I smile, and then I look at them and I see them just like, I think of some of the ones on the sideline doing and my favorite one was the bench press, Sierra. That one. They come up with all these things like that. It should be on the front page, like them celebrating, and everybody from, every ounce of this team has done something together. Those are the moments that people don't see. They don't see the hard work that goes into practice. And they don't see the celebration that they coordinate and they write it down on the dry erase board in the locker room, what they're going to do and what's the first goal and what's the second goal. Like those kinds of moments I think are important too. But I love the fact that Coach has, the futures, Lacrosse, Finley, that's going to be there. And that's important that she's, part of this, because that's where they all came from too. So
You look at things that you can teach, right? You could teach in different drills and you can help somebody hone their raw talent, but you can't teach somebody to want to be personally responsible. You keep talking about everybody on the team having responsibility and coming together with that. That is a lost art sometimes. So can we speak to that a little bit more on why you feel this team has been so responsible and willing to say, you know what, this is where we're wrong, this is what we need to do, and this is where we're going? Because you can try to teach it, but they have to pick it up.
Yeah, I do have to give the parents the credit. I think it comes from the things that they're modeled at home, what they've listened to, what they've seen, what they've been, part of.
Yeah. Can we clap it up for the parents for a second here? Because not only do you all show up for these, but we have a fantastic support group here in Baldwinsville that I appreciate. So not to interrupt, but I did want to show some.
But I think it starts at home, right? And I think it starts with the coaches that they've had. I know some of the parents have been coaching them since they were younger, and just all throughout the Baldwinsville program, there's been some amazing coaches also. So I think it starts there, and then. I think the ones that don't have that drive, don't have the dedication, they weed themselves out and they, move on to other things. And the ones that have that fierce fight, that camaraderie sense, that loyalty, the commitment, I think that's what keeps them going. So it's, when you're a special breed like they are, they just intrinsically have it. And I think then they're all alpha. I always say, we're alphas, right? If you're an athlete, you're usually an alpha. And I think it's hard when you get a bunch of alphas together, but everybody has a level of alpha, and they all bring out a little bit of each other in there, and I think that's how we ebb and flow with everything.
It's put together very well. Bree, do you think you're all alphas?
Definitely.
Yeah? Who is the biggest alpha personality in the room?
That's a tough question. There's a lot of them. Honestly, I have to go with Fiona.
Okay.
Sure.
Why?
She's just always working hard and leading the team, pumping everybody up. Yeah.
So you hear Coach talk about somehow all the alphas work together. Why do you think you all have found a way to have those big personalities, want individually to have success as a group? Why do you all work together well? Why does this all come together well?
I feel like we all have like a certain role and we all bring something different to the page or whatever, and it just comes all together, fits together nicely.
What is it about this team that you have loved way before this season?
Our friendships. We have such great friendships and connections off the field. It just brings it close. It brings us closer when we're on the field.
At the end of the game, when you all run out onto the field together, do you feel like you can go back almost in your head to those moments of being a little kid
Yeah.
and you're running out with the same people?
Yes.
So you go back to that?
Yeah. We were talking at practice once about when we were little. We used to tap the goalies on the head with our sticks instead of like hug them, but now we give hugs.
Yeah. You don't tap Sam on the head, do you? Okay. Good. So you talked about how there's all these friendships. That's what means the most to you, are the friendships. When you look at these friendships and these bonds, why are they unbreakable? Why do you bend but not break?
We've been together for so long. We know each other so well to the point where like we could say something and it won't like hurt someone or whatever. And we've been playing together so long. We all have the same kind of personalities in a way.
Was there a tough moment or two this season that you can go back to and say, we had to get through this together?
Yeah, definitely our 2 losses were hard. We don't lose a lot, so those kind of sucked. And then, that's what I like.
Last season, the championship is played on your home, right there on the field. You don't get that victory in double overtime.
Yeah.
But last year, there were no states. This year, you win sectionals, you get to play in states, and you win a state championship. Even though you want to win every single game, does that right the ship a little bit this year, knowing that if you had won last year, it would have just stopped, and you would have never known how far the team could go?
Yeah, I definitely would have rather had this than that because it's kind of like a double comeback. Like, we lost last year, but here we are winning states. So I feel like this is way better than just winning a section.
Do you get to spend much time with Finley? Do you get to hold her ever?
I don't.
You know,
That's not my, like, really.
who would you say, we heard from some of your teammates before, who gets to hold her the most?
Definitely Ava, yeah.
It is Ava? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Your first thing you did that maybe wasn't caught on camera or video when the championship is won, what's the first thing that you remember doing?
Run, hug all of my teammates at the goal, like Sammy and them.
Do you remember who you hugged first?
No, it was just a big group hug. I just remember like jumping on so it was a huge group hug.
Who was on the bottom who ended up on the bottom of the mosh pit?
It wasn't dog. We just
Dog pile?
hugged each other. Like,
Yeah.
hug.
Yeah. We like hugs on this team.
Yeah. Coach, when you see something like this happen, for me it's surreal and it's beautiful that, I mean, and I've told everybody about this story that I could, that literally sitting on this stage and hearing everybody say this is what we want to do, and then backing that up and doing that. I mean, so few teams in the world say it and then do it. So when you get to be a part of that, where they told you, this is where we're going, this is what we want, we know what it feels like to lose, we know what it feels like to be almost there. They made it clear. And now you get to sit here as champions. So for you, is there a word or two that can kind of, I don't know if pride fits, I don't know if there's a big enough word to say they said it and they did it. And I think that's one of the coolest things I've gotten to do in a calendar year is listen to a team say, hey, this is who we are. And then I was like, oh, well, that is who you are. It's pretty incredible. So how would you maybe sum it up to see it from bookend to bookend?
I think I always think about like there's those wall quotes, that they have for little girls. It's like something about like they say they can move mountains or something. They may be small, but they can move mountains.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think since they've been little, they've always had that idea of like, don't tell me what to do, I can do it. You say I can't, I'm going to show you I can. I think that's just the mentality of these girls. It's like you say you can't, and they're going to do it. I think anything they say they're going to do, they're going to do it because they want it so badly. And if they can't do it themselves, someone will pick them up and do it for them. They're like, yeah, I'm with you. We got this. And I think it's that. I think it's that everybody's, you have a bad moment or you have a bad game or you have a bad thought and you're like, man, what else could I do? And then you just turn to somebody, you got like the ones over here who are joking around and making you laugh, and then, you know, the super serious ones that give you like the get your head out of you know where and like let's pull it together and get it done, and you know, so I think that's what it is. I think it's just a matter of like they just dig deep, and if they run out of gas and they empty the tank, then they look to somebody else and say, what you got? Help me out here. And I think, I don't know, I mean, it's just there is no word, but it's just a feeling, and I think that's the feeling they're going to carry forever.
Yeah, it's an incredible run that needs to be kind of put in a time capsule for people to go back to, and hopefully we could be a part of doing that. So now it's time for rapid fire. So 2 questions apiece before we jump into the next. Coach has notes. Coach has did you write those on a napkin?
No, it's even better. It's on a bank thing.
Oh, it's on a bank thing. Okay.
Anymore, so I was like, oh, this is in my card. So my little one was riding with me, and we're like, what are some questions we can ask him? And so we're just like, I was sitting at the light because, you know, we're sitting in traffic, so I was like, I'm just gonna write some down. It's the best thinking on, you know, bar napkins. You know that. Like,
Yeah, the best. Well, yeah, that's why I have napkins throughout my home that can never be thrown out. My mom used to take whatever papers I had, and she would either throw them out or shove the ones from like today and 3 years ago in the same pile, and then put them in some desk somewhere. And I mean, there's important thoughts that I may not have if not for those napkins.
For sure.
So with that being said, I'm going to let you all start it, and then I'll come back around. So Bree, you can ask me the first question.
What sports did you play in high school?
I played basketball.
You're good at it.
Yes. I would like to think I was. I hated doing cardio. I did not like running as a kid. I like doing cardio now. I would have liked to go back in time and tell myself, like, just run a little bit more, because I could always shoot. I was the 3-point guy. So I was a guy, you could set me up anywhere, I'm going to take the shot, but I needed to run more, and I still, to this day, will go out onto a court, but now I run more. So that's probably a better thing for me. All right, Bree, I'm going to ask you one. Okay. I can't ask you what sport you played. So what are 3 words that you think best describe your personality that somebody would say now or years ago? Like, do you think you've stayed consistent, first of all? And what are those 3 words?
That's a hard one. This is a hard
3 words.
3 words. Yeah, honest is good. Honest.
Honest, okay.
Hardworking.
Determined. You're blunt.
Fierce, I guess.
Okay. I like that. All right, Coach, go ahead. What do you got for me?
All right, so I think just listening to one of the girls, I think making something on their phone about like talking to their future self
Yeah.
after we won. Talk to your future self, what would you say?
I'm talking to my future self today.
Yeah,
I'm talking to myself.
Yeah, so if you were to leave yourself like a little, you know, we make time capsules,
Yeah.
what would you like, you saying, what you know now?
What would I say to myself in the future? I hope gas prices are lower. I would say, what would I say to myself? I know what I would say to my past self is I would say, outside noise belongs outside by definition. I would say that. But I would say to my future self, I know that wherever you are today is because we worked really hard to get here. We believed in God. And no matter what, we enjoyed the day. I would also tell my future self that I really hope I took every moment and made something out of it and didn't take it for granted. So I would say that, and I would probably say, I hope you made sure to play with Lily, my dog. Because my dog literally asks nothing. She's like the simplest, kindest, sweetest thing in the world, and she loves to play fetch. So I would write to myself that I hope that I spent enough time with her. So, and she'd probably write that to me too. My question for you, Liz, what's the best thing you've ever written on a napkin?
Wow. Question for today. That is a hard question. How about, well, I don't know if I wrote it on, maybe I wrote it on toilet paper, but Babe, I'm pregnant.
Awesome.
No, to my husband, baby. Like when you're just like in the, I don't know. You're all
Yeah.
there's just so many things on a napkin. I don't know. 'Cause I should go back and see if I have them all like bottled up in like a
Yeah.
spot.
Should keep them somewhere.
Yeah.
I do have, and they're not in my pocket today, so it kind of makes a liar out of me, but there's two things that I wrote to myself over a year ago, and I keep them right next to my bedside, and sometimes I put them in my back pocket, and they're just things to remind me of what I need to know about myself. And I don't know what it was about that day, but I wrote it, and I can't tell you how many times I go to it, and it's always relevant. All right, Bree, what's your last one for me?
What's your dream vacation?
My dream vacation. I go to Disney a lot, so, which I'm very grateful for. I'll be there in 2 weeks.
I would have never guessed you as a Disney guy.
I am a Disney guy.
Which park?
Animal Kingdom, because Everest is my favorite ride. There's something about going backwards.
I agree with
Everybody screams as you go backwards, and I always laugh while everybody's screaming.
That's my favorite ride.
Your favorite?
That's my favorite.
And it's got good music.
When I was like 7 going on it.
It's a very small, and the thing is, because there's so many other rides now, it's like a 15-minute wait. So I've ridden it 6 times in a row in the last year. I'm trying to hit a record. So you're questioning me what my dream vacation would be. Where have I not been? I mean, I think I've said it before in a way here, but I guess going to Italy and Spain, because that's where my family comes from. So, and I've never been there. And I think during COVID, it really hit home for me, like the thought of, oh my God, what if I could never go? What if I never get to go overseas? So I think that would probably be my dream vacation. I was told only good things, I mean, about both, but everybody told me about Spain and how relaxed it is and calm it is, and people take naps in the middle of the day, and they have a parade, and like everybody gets together to celebrate the day. Like on a Monday, they celebrate. And they don't work all day like we do. They actually take breaks for themselves, which I think is important. And I try to do more of that now. All right, Bree, my second one for you. All right, we're going to get serious for a minute. Okay? You are the first female president of the United States. Okay? It's a 2-part question. Who on your team do you bring with you on your ticket as your vice president? And what is your campaign slogan?
Oh, jeez. That is depends if I want someone serious or someone that's gonna make it like fun. Honestly, I think I bring Maeve because she's always put together and just got everything figured out.
Okay.
I don't know what my slogan.
What would be the slogan?
I don't have a slogan.
Do you have a quote that you like or something you live by? No?
Not really.
That's a good one?
Yeah.
She said she would and she did? All right, that's a good one. I like it. Fair. Coach, your last one for me?
Let me go on my list.
Go to your sheet.
So many.
Go to your sheet.
Serious, or do you want to go like a little like?
You know what? How many do you have on there?
Oh, like 7 or 8.
Okay. You can ask me 2 of them because you put the work in. So you can pick whatever 2 you want.
Well, all right. Let's see. How about the worst date you've ever been on?
Wow. Wow. So many. Oh. How much time do we have? So it's my show. Worst date I've ever been on. Wow. I have some dates that turn into relationships that I said, why did I let that go past a date? So,
Maybe you learned something from it.
you learn something from every crazy person that you meet. So, and I met a lot of crazy people. I would say the worst date I've ever been on, I think it's probably when somebody tried to set me up with someone else, and out of the goodness of their heart, and this woman said to me 2 things. She said, she said this first. She said, I'm really enjoying my time with you, but I don't believe in God and I like to do drugs, and I don't think you like either one of those things. And she said, so if you believe in God or you are against drugs, will probably never work out. And then she got off the stool and she went to leave. So that probably was something.
Maybe it worked out for the best.
Yeah, that worked out for the best. I think there was one that happened here in Central New York. I'll tell this one. So I was set up on a blind date when I was a teenager. It was okay, you know when moms do this? When a mom talks to another mom, they're like, "Oh, you guys would be great," whatever. So I went on a date with this girl. I didn't know anything about her. We went to the movie theater, and that was good because she really wasn't talkative. And I wasn't having a good time. I tried to have a good time. It wasn't working out. So there was snow on the ground, and I drove her home, and I asked her which way to go. And there was like a fork in the road. You had to go left or you had to go right. And she said, "Go straight." And I was like, "You can't go straight. You got to go left or right." She goes, "No, go straight." And it was like the most boring date I've ever been on. So I hightailed it straight into a snowbank and curved at the last minute. And her face, and I was like, "You told me to go straight." I dropped her off. She's like, "Do you want to like come inside and talk for a little bit?" I was like, "No, I'm okay." And she's like, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." She stood at the door for like 5 minutes, and I went, "I'm not going to change my mind." And then I went home. So I'd probably say that too. It's a very awkward date, but thank God for the movie, which I don't even remember what that movie was. But what's your next one for me?
What's something, all right, so I'll kind of give you a little, like, something that people wouldn't think about me, or, like, it would be like, if I could go to the Formula 500 and be like, Dan Patrick drive like a race car, Fast and Furious, like, most people wouldn't see me as that, because I'm usually kind of, so is there something that, like, something you think people really don't know about you, or that you would, like, throw a curveball at someone, or, like, you do whatever you want right now? What would it be, like, kind of?
Yeah, I think to the people that really know me, they know this, but I think that, and I'm not gonna, and I know people are, every time you say this, somebody yells out something about this, but we're not gonna do it tonight. But I think a lot of people don't know, because they know me as a broadcaster, they don't know that I've been singing my whole life, and that I've written like 30 or 40 songs at this point. So music is a big part of my life, and I love putting music together. So that's probably a curveball, because I don't think people would expect that from a sportscaster. I would say that. So with that being said, Bree, I know you gotta get rocking and rolling here. So we don't want to make Bree late. We're going to be back here on Facebook and YouTube in just a moment, but not before we give a shout out to Coach Boyle and Bree here and show them some love. State champions. We'll be back right after this on YouTube.